Ready? Cool. Shit, what episode are we on again?
15.
15. All right. Okay. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 15 of the This and That Gaming Podcast. Fuck you, Darren. Threw me off.
Yo, what's up, yo? What's up, dog?
What is up, everyone?
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah. All right, hang on. Episode 15, cool. What is up, everyone? Fuck's sake. Ho, ho, ho. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 15 of the This and That Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts for this evening. My name is Mark, if you don't know that already. Joining me, as always, are my brothers in arms, my co-hosts. First off, Daz, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I missed you guys. Really did.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. But no, we're here. We finally got together, and that's it. We're doing it. Indeed. And also, he came up with a really good description for me last time. I'm trying to think of something, but I didn't quite think this through. So I'm just going to throw it over to him. Dave, sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm finished for the year. I'm energized. I'm raring to go. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, as you probably figured, we are doing our last episode for 2019. We've got a fair bit to cover today, so we'll get right into it. Like we always wanting to do at this point in the show, we'll quickly go around the table and say what we've all been playing for the past few weeks. Dave, you've always got some interesting stuff to cover, so how about you take it away this time?
Cool. So last episode, which was a few weeks back now, I was playing the Division 2, and I'm still playing that at the moment. So I managed to finish the campaign and level up my gear to the highest gear score of 500. So what happens basically once you finish the campaign, there are a series of world tiers that you progress through, and you do that by first upgrading your gear by doing various activities, and then completing invasions and the stronghold missions. When you do that enough, you'll progress through the different tiers. It's a pretty good end game that they have set up for the Division 2. I was quite impressed. It was fairly quick to sort of progress through. You felt like you were getting meaningful upgrades. So I quite enjoyed it. And now that I'm at a gear level of 500, there's still a ton of stuff to do. There's expeditions, there's missions outside of sort of Washington. You get picked up in a helicopter and taken out. So yeah, it's pretty good. I have to say, I had a lot of fun with the Division 2, and I'm very pleased that the end game turned out to be better than I think the first division was. So in between that, I've been playing a few other games. I tried out Crosscode, which was an older indie game. You know, it has that sort of 16-bit SNES type graphics.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really gel with me. I don't know what it was. There was a lot of sort of, running around to this person and that person. It was maybe a little bit too puzzly for my liking. So I honestly only played it for an hour or two and sort of gave up, which is a shame because I really did like the look of the graphics. The other game I played quite a bit of was a game called Creature in the Well. This was, I think, on Game Pass, and it's basically an action hack and slash mixed with a pinball game.
Oh,
so
what's it called?
Creature in the Well. So you progress through various areas, and you use your weapon to sort of charge up balls, and you've got to hit those balls on certain things in the rooms in order to unlock the room and progress through the game. It's a pretty cool idea, and quite fun to play. So I've put a fair few hours into that. It's been pretty good. Haven't finished it. No idea how far into the game I am, but yeah, that's been pretty surprising. Actually, you should give it a try. Not sure if it'll be exactly your cup of tea, but I did like the whole pinball mechanic in the game.
So it's isometric. So
we are making Creature in the Well, a small indie
Sorry,
title.
I was just checking out. I don't know if you. I think the audio from the game would have just fed through to the podcast. This thing, 'cause I was just yeah, it looks really nice. Sort of like a cell-shaded isometric game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, is it on Game Pass? Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I can't remember if I played it on Game Pass or Steam. It was one or the other.
Okay. Cool.
But definitely give it a crack. It's not bad, actually. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. It's been a very busy time of year with, the usual preparations for the holiday season. So, yeah, really the Division has consumed most of my time, and just, a few other bits and pieces here and there.
Cool.
Daz, what about yourself?
Me, like yourself, I've hardly had any time to play anything, but if I have, it's the Switch has come to save the day as usual. Thankfully, Bubble 4 finally arrived. I've been playing the hell out of that, man. Mark, how good is it? Seriously.
It is, yeah. It's really, really fun.
It's so much fun. It feels just like the old game, but for today. And, the original game, there's nothing to change. They've just made it more of a widescreen, and it's got its differences, but it works just perfectly. I love it. Even the speech.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after you die, he says something. It's so cute.
Yeah.
I don't know what he says, but it's really cute. I have to say, a game I was smitten by it. It was really, really good. So yeah, I've been playing that a lot. Tetris 99 again. I play that all the time. There's no point me keep mentioning that. But yeah, I finally gave Blasphemous a go. Excuse me. Today, and wow, this is going to be my game for the holidays. I really am going to sit down and play it. Yeah, it's really good. If you love your Castlevania, your Metrovania games, you're going to like this. And it's not dumb hard like Dead Cells. It kind of reminds me of that as well, but yeah, it's not dumb hard. So yeah, and I feel like I was playing something else, and I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I can't get it from memory, but yeah, I played that today, and I really enjoyed it. So I'll be sticking to that. Hopefully, I get to finish it. Mark,
sweet.
Me, yeah, like you guys, I've been stupid busy over the past month or so. So my gaming time has been a little bit limited, but for some reason, some friends of mine from work decided to pick up Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2 on PC, because it's CD Keys was selling it for like $15. So decided to give that a go. Like $15, you're like, really, you can't go wrong. Yeah. Game itself is actually quite fun to play. I'm not a big shooter guy, but it's enjoyable, but it's frustrating as well, because like getting into a game sometimes seems to be hit or miss. You can be sitting there for like 10 minutes waiting for the lobby to fill up, or other times it'll like quickly throw you straight into a match. So it just seems to be a little bit inconsistent. But like from what I've played so far, I've only been playing for a couple of days. It's been fun, like I'm crap at it, but it's just, it's like one of those games where like I don't know if you guys have played Battlefield before, but like you step out there and then 2 seconds later you're getting headshotted from someone, across the map and that. But look, I've enjoyed it. So for $15, you can't really go wrong.
Is that Australian servers? Have they got Australian servers? Or
Yeah,
only...
they do, but it's still kind of laggy.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. There's always this message pops up. Says slow internet connection, and then I googled it today, and it was like it's a really common complaint. So I don't know. It's just EA being EA, I guess. I'm not sure, but there is you can choose an option of where you want. It's kind of hidden though, which is kind of strange. But you can choose where you want to go. You've got a few different options there, but yeah, again, not too bad. Like Daz mentioned, Bubble. What's it called? Bubble Friends for You or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That arrived this week, and I was kind of I was a little bit nervous for this one, to see how it was going to go, because like I love Bubble. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, it just felt like Bubble. It felt right. It's funny. Daz and I messaged each other, and we said the exact same thing at the exact same time. It was like the mechanics just felt right. Like when you're pushing the bubble along, it feels the same as the old arcade game, and yeah, it's really, really enjoyable. So that's one that's going to be taking up my time.
You know what?
Over the holidays.
Liked? You know what I really liked about it? I like that you can just jump on the bubbles without them busting. If you hold the jump button down, you jump higher. And if you want to bust it, you hold down. I really liked that. You know, that's something that would have helped the original version a lot back in the day. But
and I like the fact that as well that like the extend, you only need to get them once, and it keeps like they carry over if you die, if you start over again. And they're more full so for like power ups and stuff. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, been playing that, and there was something. Oh God, it's just slipped my mind. Actually, today for some strange reason, I decided to fire up Forza Horizon 4 on PC, and I was actually playing that just before we went live today. So that game again, it's just dumb fun, man. Like just being able to drive wherever you want, and yeah, it's insane.
Did you try the new mode?
No, the Battle Royale mode. I haven't tried it yet. I'm kind of a little bit scared to get in there because I reckon I'm going to get smacked. But I'll have to give it a go. I know they're still adjusting it or something like, because I got some like messages and that. But yeah, I'll give it a crack eventually. But I think that's pretty much been it. I feel like there's something else that I've been playing and I've just forgotten about it. But yeah. Anyways.
Cool.
Okay, cool. No worries. So just before we move on to the news, Black Friday is a thing here now in Australia.
Yeah.
We're kind of we're kind of copying the US in that regard. Not necessarily a bad thing, because it is a good excuse to pick up a good deal. Did you guys grab anything this year?
Nah, nothing.
No?
Nothing.
From
nothing.
Memory, no. Maybe. Not actual proper sales. No, I might have grabbed maybe something on Steam or something, but yeah, nothing from memory.
Christ, I'm the only one that opened up the wallet.
Oh, actually, no. I lie. No, I did buy one thing. I bought a 8-bit-o. I did buy the wireless Mega Drive controller.
Oh, the controller.
Yeah, I did buy
Is that for the mini, or is it for the original?
Original Mega Drive.
Oh, nice, man.
Dude, it's an amazing piece of tech. It's so good. So
I want one for the mini.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you have to go for the retro bit ones, not that. Which have input lag, supposedly.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Because I did see there was one for the mini, an 8-bit dough or whatever, but it's not for sale in Australia. It was only for sale in Amazon US, and apparently they wouldn't ship it here for some strange reason, so that was annoying. Yeah. I picked up 2 PlayStation games, because there was a lot of, you know how all the PlayStation Classic games have been reduced in price, and they were on Black Friday, they were like, I think Amazon had them for $14 or something like that. So I got God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition because I haven't played either of those, so I thought I'll give them a crack when I have some time.
Insert shelf picture.
Yes,
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, I ended up getting, God, what's it called? New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe Edition. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
The re-release from the Wii U.
Oh, okay.
I ended up getting that, and Kirby's Superstar Allies, or whatever it's called, the Kirby game. Grabbed those on Switch. They were like $50 a piece, so I thought, why not? And then on Steam, ended up getting, God, what's it called? I think it's called Million Arcana Club, something like that, which is like some obscure anime fighting game. That's got Iori from King of Fighters in it. So I thought, I'll grab that for $20. I've had my eye on that for a while. Ended up getting Resident Evil 2 Remake on PC as well for like $20. I've been wanting to get that on the PC for a while. So, yeah, a few bargains were had there.
Sweet. Have you had a chance to play Resident Evil yet or not? The remake?
I have. I had it because I had it on PS4. I got the physical one.
Yep.
I played that at the start of the year. But, I just wanted to get it on PC just because Master Race and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
That game is heart attack inducing, man. It's so stressful. Yeah. All right, cool. So what we'll do is we'll move on to the news. Now what I'll do is I'll throw over to Dave, but before we do, first I'm going to give you, Daz, an opportunity to discuss what you just posted in the thing. So go for it.
Yeah. It was actually announced today. Unfortunately, Chuck Peddle, who was the creator of the 6502 processor chip from Moss Technology, passed away on the 15th of December. And so it was just released today. A lot of people don't know this guy, but because of this man, there's the vintage computer legacy is what we have now. It's because of him, really. He invented this chip that it was in the Commodore 64. It was in the Commodore PET. So and he worked with Commodore, and the guy was a genius. So just rest in peace, Chuck. Without you, we wouldn't have had all these successful computers. And this chip worked with the Motorola, as far as I know, the 68,000 processor, microprocessor. So yeah, he was genius. This guy was genius. He invented a chip that could do so much for like little to next to nothing. Like the costed bugger all to make.
Yeah, I think it was $25 was the target.
Yeah. So
compared to sort of 300 or something for the 6800.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, we all have to go, I guess. But he lived a long time, so he outlived Jack Tramiel. So,
yes.
Veil Chuck Peddle. Okay. Go for it.
All right.
Dave, take us away.
Some news. We won't have as much news, I think, this time as we've had in the past. We do have a lot to talk about in our discussion topics. So we've sort of curated, I think, a few key news items that have come up over the last few weeks. One of them that's quite interesting is around Sony releasing an add-on for the DualShock 4 controller. This add-on has basically two buttons. They're paddles and an OLED display, and it plugs into the bottom of your controller. I thought this was quite interesting for it to be coming out this late, I guess, in the PS4's life. What are your thoughts, Mark or Daz, around this contraption?
Well, I don't know what it's for. I mean, and again, it's a year before the new PlayStation comes out.
Yeah. So this is kind of like an answer to the Elite controller that Microsoft does. So the point is, so what it does, you've got two paddles that are at the back, right? So it makes it kind of easier to access. So basically what you do is you reprogram like two of the existing buttons to those paddles. So
okay, for us, for example, think of it from a fighting game perspective. Like the shoulder button sometimes can be a bit of a pain in the ass to use, right? So if you wanted to say map like your supers to that button, it just makes it easier to access.
Okay.
And I think they're a bit more sensitive as well. So I think these are mainly used for like shooters, from what I've read. And it just makes it. I don't know. Maybe you might want to assign your triggers to it, or I don't know, grenades or whatever, something like that. Something that just makes it just a little bit more quicker reaction, I guess. So my feeling is, look, you look at it on face value, and you think, man, this is a strange thing to release a year from current gen. But my guess is that they're testing the waters to see how people react, and then I reckon this will be like a standard feature on the DualShock 5.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. It must have. You would think the DualShock 5 is going to have something similar to this.
And then in turn, this will be able to be played on the PS5 as well, probably. I mean, because the original Xbox, well, the new Xbox that's coming out, it's going to be backward compatible with controllers too. So, yeah.
Do you know if the reprogram is just a single button? So you can, you take left shoulder 2, and that becomes paddle left or whatever. Do you know if it can do multi keys, or is it only just a single one?
It's 2. From what I've read, you can do 2 buttons.
Okay.
On either one. Oh, so do you mean like, for example, on the left one you could do, I don't know, square and circle, or
something like that. Yeah, up and square or something like that.
No, I don't know. From what I've read, it's just a single button per side.
Cool. Interesting anyway. And I think it's not super expensive. It's like $40 or something.
Yeah, $50 I think Australian. So
cool. The other news we had, and this is interesting news, is that the government have announced they will be reviewing the Australian classification system for video games. I'm not sure how to feel about this one. I might ask Mark actually what his thoughts are on this.
This one worries me, man.
Huh.
This one, look, I know our classification system is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but not to get too political, but the government has shown that they can be extremely out of touch. So
yeah, especially now. Yes.
Now, you know what I mean? Like
very, very far right at the moment. So
yeah. So there's nothing. What's to say that we don't go backwards? You know what I mean? Like they could say like R-rated games have no place in our society, and they revoke like what took us 10 years to kind of to put into place. So look, we'll see. Fingers crossed that they do it right. But it's to me it's concerning anyway.
Daz, do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, I didn't know much about it as well. If I'm going by what Mark's saying, I'd be quite worried. I might have to get a VPN and maybe get games from overseas if something gets banned. So yeah. Look,
they haven't said much about what they're going to do, but the current government is quite conservative and does have a sort of religious bent as well. So that does worry me when it comes to video games. And look, some people say, there hasn't been many game bans. We've only had X amount in the last 10 years or whatever. But still, the fact that there are bans is an issue to start with. And sometimes they happen for the most silliest of things. So, look, time will tell, I guess. But I'm not holding my breath that it's going to make the situation better.
Yep.
So we had the Game Awards, and one of there's a few things that were announced during the Game Awards, but probably the most, I guess, telling thing was the picture and the video of the new Xbox, which they call the Xbox Series X. And the box itself looks like a mini sort of tower PC. People were just saying, "Oh, it's just a PC," but it's a lot smaller than your standard PC.
I like it,
and I thought it looked pretty sexy, to be honest. It's clean. I mean, if that was in white and Apple released it, everybody would be going crazy about it, right?
Oh yeah. That's true.
They'll be marveling at its, its straight lines and its, contoured edges or whatever. I don't know. So I've got no issues with it. It should mean that we get better cooling, and that's going to be really important because these new machines, both the PlayStation and Xbox, have got some serious hardware in them. It'll be more powerful than my PC is at the moment. So you want some decent cooling if you want to get the best out of it. People were saying it might be difficult to fit in your entertainment unit. I don't tend to put stuff in my entertainment unit because it overheats.
It can be set horizontally as well.
Yeah. So there you go. I think it's good. But one of the interesting things they also said was, I think it was in a later discussion, was that the Xbox Series X is really, the branding is just going to be Xbox.
That's correct, yeah. Which is stupid.
Well, it is, but they're kind of saying, look, we're going to have, Xbox is the make, and Series X is the model, right? So there'll be a Series whatever, and they could call it whatever they like. I'm not sure for gamers, it's probably not the end of the world, but for parents or casuals, they might get a bit confused by the naming. I mean, it's far easier to just go into a shop and say, can I have the PlayStation 5? And you're getting the latest one, right?
That's right, yeah.
So,
this reminds me of the Wii and the Wii U kind of thing. Because a lot of people used to think the Wii U was just like an add-on. It was just a controller for the Wii. So, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, the specs of the Xbox look really good. The naming can hurt you. I don't know if we're in the same sort of era as we are with the Wii and the Wii U. Who knows? I think, again, time will tell whether it's to their detriment or not. But it does definitely hint at there being more than one console variant available. And maybe not day one, but definitely in the near future. So they probably have a discless version, I'm guessing, and maybe a version that's lower spec to get people on board, with the brand. What are your thoughts, Mark, around the Xbox Series X, or the Xbox Sex, as some people have been calling?
I like the look of it as well. I don't think if I do end up getting one, I don't think I'd be keeping it vertical. Just because I don't like putting in the discs that way, and it has an optical drive, thank God, which is good. But yeah, look, it's really still too early to tell. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope they fix the mistakes that they've made this gen, because I'm a big Xbox fan. I'm not an Xbox buff, but I'm an Xbox fan. It's kind of sucked not being, I don't know, not having an Xbox this gen, but yeah, time will tell. Yeah. Did anyone watch the Game Awards?
I didn't watch them live. I sort of just caught up afterwards on what was announced. Did you happen to catch the show?
That was a long slog, man. That was a long slog. It was 3 hours. And yeah.
There's a lot of filler, was there? Because it looked like it.
There was, well, for an awards show, there were very little awards to begin with. And so, a few strange decisions. Sekiro won Game of the Year.
Oh, wow.
Which was up against Resident Evil 2 Remake, Death Stranding, and I can't remember what the other games were. It seemed kind of an odd choice to me, but yeah. When I finished watching it, my first thought was, man, this show was crap. It was just filled with so many ads and stuff like that. But But then when you think about it, say it's an awards show, right? But it doesn't have the benefit of being broadcast on live TV, so it doesn't have that revenue stream. So, like, then when you think about it after that, it's like, oh yeah, I guess they need to do ads and just to kind of be able to fund it and everything like that. But yeah, it was last year's show was great. This year's was like really, really disappointing. I think the Xbox announcement and they showed the first, I guess, PS5 game reveal called Godfall, which like visually looked like bloody amazing. Those are probably the highlights of the entire thing. Everything else was kind of, I guess, throwaway. There's nothing really interesting to come out of it. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, it's better next year because this year was really super disappointing.
What other awards were announced? I'm just curious. Outside of best game of the year,
there was best direction. One was called Fresh Indie Game, and what they ended up doing as well. So there was like a pre-show to the actual award show, and they announced a bunch of games there as well.
Yep.
And like best fighting game was in this pre-show. What else was there? Like best RPG was in the pre-show, and then like during the main show they had like best esports player, best esports team, or something along those lines. Best influence. One of the things was like best gaming tweet of the year. What the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But yeah. Anyway, enough of the Game Awards.
There was a few interesting announcements. I don't know if they made a big deal about them during the awards, like Magic the Gathering being turned into an MMO. I thought was interesting. I don't know how well it'll go, but I thought that was unusual. And a single player campaign or story from League of Legends, I thought again was quite strange. So a lot of I guess companies or franchises sort of branching out into a different type of game was quite unusual. All right, let us continue and leave the Game Awards behind. We also leave behind the Steam controller. Valve has officially discontinued the Steam controller. May it rest in peace. It was initially introduced in 2015. I did pick one up. I can't remember when. I think it was maybe a year after that. Did any of you guys ever have a Steam controller?
No, I only bought the actual Steam thing, but I got rid of it.
Was that the Steam Link or?
Yeah.
Look, I was surprised when I bought it because it was quite an expensive controller, and it did feel a little cheap, to be honest. And I liked that they were trying to go for a different type of control mechanism, and I think for certain games it might have worked really well, but I could never get used to it to the point where I could use it as my go-to controller. I was far more comfortable using an Xbox One or even a 360 controller rather than the Steam controller. So for me, it was boxed up, and I think it's still up on the shelf somewhere. But it kind of was a bit of a failed experiment. They were giving them away for about $5 for a short period of time before they discontinued them.
Yeah, never interested me. Was it you that you grabbed the Steam thing off me, didn't you, Mark? Was it you?
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got that.
Was that shelf or you used it?
I tried it and it felt
laggy,
very laggy. So yeah, it went straight onto the shelf after that.
We should actually one day just post our shelf of shame on the Facebook page. So one of the interesting games that came out of the Nintendo's Indie Showcase was a game called Super Mash. Did you guys catch a video of this? I thought it was really interesting.
No.
I don't know how well it's going to play, Basically, the premise behind it is that you choose two different genre of games. It could be a platformer and an RPG, and it mashes them together and makes you a new game for you to play.
That's cool.
And they showed they showed a video. It looked pretty interesting. I don't know about the longevity of these mashed up games, but it's nice to see something different being done rather than the same old thing. So I'm keen to try it out. I think it may actually be out already. Has anyone seen it out in the wild?
I just googled it because I did see the announcement during the indie showcase. I think it's out on the Epic Games Store.
Yeah. I swear I saw
already?
it. It might have came out last week.
Yeah, it did. December 10th.
Let's give it a crack at some point. Now, this one is big news, but it's big news for a few of us, I think, because we've all really enjoyed this game. And Daz, I'm going to hand over to you. Axiom Verge 2 was announced at the indie showcase.
When Mark posted it, I was like, wow, you're kidding. I was like, this better not be troll. This better not be trolling. Oh my god, it looks so good. I haven't been this happy in a long time. I destroyed the first one, finished it. Rare I finished a game. It took me a long time to finish the first one, and this looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, I think he did it all by himself. I always remember Thomas Happ, I think his name is. He did it all by himself again. The guy is a genius. Absolute genius. And I'm going to buy this game 4 or 5 times again like I did the first one. So, mate, whoever's a fan of Super Metroid, you got to play this game. And I don't even think the second one's is gonna disappoint us at all. If it's anything like the first one, this is gonna make Darren very, very happy. Did it actually say, was there a date? Release date?
It said fall 2020, so that's the US fall, I imagine, which would be our spring.
Okay.
So we're still waiting a while. It's going to be September-ish next year.
That's all right. I can wait. That's okay. It's all right.
Yeah. I didn't catch. I saw the video, but without sound. Did they have much of a rocking soundtrack, or is that not really?
Dude, it's more of the same. It looks, and it's just a little more detail though. Graphically, it looks like it's just got that little bit more detail. The colors, it's Axiom Verge, man. I can't bag it.
Yeah, I'm super impressed by this guy to do the whole game on his own and the audio to put out a track like that. The soundtrack's just
amazing.
Wow. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's great.
Very good game. Didn't outstay its welcome as well.
Yeah.
Like it's probably a good 15 hours to finish the first one, something like that.
I took a bit longer. I was trying to open up everything and jeez. Yeah, there were times I was shitting myself in it, man. I absolutely love it. It's great.
So yeah, no, that was really good news, and I wish him the best and the game the best, because it's seriously, if anyone deserves another round of applause, it's Mr. Thomas. What's his surname?
Happ.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had Resident Evil 2 remake this year, and now we've got number 3 announced during Sony's State of Play, and it's coming April 3rd, 2020. I'm not sure if there's much more to say about this. Mark, is there anything you want to add?
No. I'm just there's been rumors for a while that it was coming, but for it to be announced, we're in December, and the wait is only 4 or 5 months is pretty awesome. Man, we're in for a stacked quarter 1 next year for games.
It's ridiculous.
And it just it's just as gorgeous looking as Resident Evil 2 remake was. So I never played much of the third one back on the PS1. So yeah, looking forward to this. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do around March, April next year. We might have to just take a month off work.
Yeah.
I can see a backlog and just playing through the rest of them the remainder of the year, because it's just ridiculous how much is coming out then.
Insane.
And this last little bit of news I just wanted to add, I did try out So GOG's 2.0 launcher, Good Old Games, is now in open beta, and I gave it a quick crack last weekend, and I was quite impressed. It was very easy to add in libraries for all your other, what do you call them, launchers, so Steam, Epic, Origin, Uplay. The only one that wasn't there was BattleNet. That wasn't there. But it does have the option for people to develop their own connectors. So we might see some of the community create some additional connectors, and then you'll be able to download and install them and also hook in those libraries. It also hooks into PlayStation and Xbox. Obviously, you can't play the games, but you can see all your games. And I think it gives you a bit of information around achievements and if your friends are online as well. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's got a few options for the viewing of the covers. So you can do, sort of a bookshelf, or you can have another one which is a list with how far you are through the game, number of achievements, all that sort of stuff. I thought it was pretty good. I've always wanted something that sort of consolidates everything, and then you're able to search all your games. Probably the one funny thing to come out of it was when you look up a game and realize it shows you which system it's on. And for a few of my games, it's on like 3 or 4 different systems, so I've got this game 4 times. But yeah, so I definitely recommend giving it a try if you're looking for something to sort of group all your games by. You can download it now. If you've got the current GOG in launcher, it won't auto install 2.0. You've got to go to the website and download it from there.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, that wraps it up for the news. Let's move on to our discussion. And we are coming to the end of a decade. I can't believe we're almost in 2020. So I think to kick it off, we've really got to talk about what were our top games for the decade. And I think we'll limit it to maybe 10 games.
Yeah.
And how do you want to do this? Do you want to sort of go around and announce a few each, or do you want to each announce your top 10, or what do you think?
I reckon just go through one, one at a time.
All right, cool.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to be long. I'm not going to elaborate on every game. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, maybe Mark, you can kick us off.
No worries. Okay. So, my top 10 games of the decade. Number 1, Monster Hunter World. Won't go into a whole lot of detail, but I've been wanting to play this series for a long time. When I first saw it announced at EB, I was like, oh yeah, this game is looking the goods. Gave it a go, and yeah, absolutely fell in love. Put so much time into it. I don't even know how many hours I've put into it across multiple systems so far, but this easily takes my number 1 spot. Up next is Overwatch. Again, as I said before, I'm not much of a shooter guy. There's probably been maybe 3 or 4 that I've really enjoyed since I've been gaming, so to speak. Overwatch is probably Overwatch is easily my favorite for a lot of reasons. One, I was semi decent at it when it first came out, and 2, because it was the first game that both my daughter and I had a shared interest in, and we spend a lot of time playing that together. We still do off and on, but she's been concentrating on her studies for the past year or so. And just be able to share that time with her, be able to, not to sound all sappy and stuff, but just to be able to bond over that game has been awesome. And to see her, like, how do I explain it? Like, that game, that is, for me, like, that is her game. Like, when you think of people, like, for example, when I think of Darren, I associate Darren with Wonder Boy and Street Fighter.
Yeah.
For me, that's Overwatch is her game. So just to see it to play that game and break out of a shell and just like actually get really good at it as well was just awesome to see. And I'm glad because she's not here because she'd give me so much shit if she heard me say that.
Can I just say as well? I can't remember how long ago it was. Maybe a year and a half ago. We were I don't know if we were at your house, Daz, or maybe we were at Tim's, and Mark was playing Overwatch and took out the entire enemy team in one go. Do you remember that?
It was that play. Yeah, I do. It was that play of the game.
Yep.
And the worst thing is that I didn't do it on my system. I did it on Tim's and I couldn't save it. It was my greatest moment in Overwatch and I couldn't save it. I was so salty, but yeah, that was an awesome moment. Next up, Bloodborne. This game, man, like again, I never played Demon Souls or much of Dark Souls. Like, I don't know, I just was not my thing. But Bloodborne, the setting, just that gothic feel. I think it was an instant appeal. Again, probably like to Daz and I growing up as metalheads when we were younger. And the best thing about it as well was because when it came out, myself, Tim, Daz, Greg Hansen,
that's right,
and Andy from I forgot the name of the podcast. Radical Rascals. Yeah. We were all playing it at the same time, and it was this like kind of mini race going on.
Yeah.
Like we were playing it and just sharing boss strategies and stuff like that. And that just made it even more fun. And just being able to slog you, because that game, man, that game was bloody hard. And playing it when I first played it, I just couldn't get through it, and I was just like, you know what, fuck this game is just way too hard. And I queued up the shelf GIF and I put it on the shelf and I didn't touch it for 6 months.
And then I finished it.
And then we all no, we were playing it at the same time. We all decided, I don't know why. We all decided, let's play Bloodborne, and we all kind of pushed through it, and it was funny because I remember you finished it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we were at Tim's. I think you were feeling sick or something.
Yeah.
You finished it on the Saturday. I finished it on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I think some of the other guys finished it like a couple of days later. So it was just this this mini, and it just made it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah. And we all got stuck on the same bosses, which was funny.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't speak highly enough of that game. Next one is, this one's kind of a cheat, but I put it in there anyway. Ultra Street Fighter 4. Because this was the final revision of the game. Basically, it blew up the roster to like 40 plus characters. Again, it was just a combination of like years of myself, Daz, Tim, just playing against each other. Having so many awesome moments.
We had so much fun with that game.
Much fun. Yeah. It was like it was the resurrection of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, the fighting game renaissance that we're kind of going through at the moment as well. Street Fighter 4, you could say, kind of kicked that off again. Next one, Mario Kart 8, both the Wii U and the Switch. Again, this is another game that daughter and I play together like all the time. We still play it now. Not much you can say more about Mario Kart 8. It doesn't get old. My previous favorite was Double Dash, and I think this one has probably overtaken that one now. Next up, I've got Final Fantasy XIV and all of its expansions. I love my MMOs. I love World of Warcraft. Final Fantasy XIV and the story about that game, the way it launched, and it was an absolute shit show. They took it back, took it down, apologized, and rebuilt it from the ground up and made it into an absolutely amazing game. If you're an MMO fan, definitely check it out. If you like your story, you're not going to be disappointed with that. Next one, Forza Horizon 2. This game, again, came out of left field. I love racing games. Again, not superly good at them, but this was another game, and there's a kind of common theme with this one. This is another one that myself and Daz and Pete, actually, from Console Domination, we played together a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what led me to buy this game. I'm trying to think about it, and I don't know why, but I grabbed it and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's so much fun. It's just being able to just like do whatever you want. This massive open world is just can't be beat. Next one, Guilty Gear Xrd. Again, this is another game that Daz and I, we go way back in terms of fighting games. We both loved the original when it came out. Series kind of disappeared for a little while. And then, they released the new one on the PS3 and PS4. Again, another game where when I think about it, to me, sitting at Daz's place and us just playing matches over and over and over and over again.
XXR. What was it? That was...
yeah.
Is it XXR? Yeah.
Yeah. Again, and it's one of our favorite series, fighting game series, again, because of the weird characters, and it's kind of got that slight metal gothic feel to it. So,
and it's done properly. It's a fighter.
Exactly. And it just resonates.
Capcom. Look at that game.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at it.
Exactly. If you're going to make Street Fighter 6, take a cue from Arc System Works.
Yeah.
Next, Bloodstained. The Kickstarter gave me the shits, but bloody hell did they deliver on that game, man. It's not Castlevania, but it's basically the spiritual successor, and they did it right. It had some issues, especially if you bought it on a Switch, but bloody hell, that game. The Kickstarter put me off from playing it for a little bit, but once I did start it up, I got through from 0 to like 90% in like 2 days straight.
Freak,
because
man.
I just didn't want to put it down, man. I just like so much fun.
Thank God they die. Cracks me up.
Last but not least, I've put down here Pokemon Sword and Shield. I also had X and Y on there. Again, this is another game that I play with my daughter. We've played pretty much not all the Pokemon games, but from the GBA onwards together. Yeah, like it again launched to a lot of controversy. If you block that out, it's a really, really fun game. Just I don't know. There's not much really more I can say about it. I just really, really enjoy the shit out of it. Yeah, that's it. There's I don't really I don't have honourable mentions. There's just way too many. It was hard enough keeping it down to 10. But yeah, those are mine.
Cool. I might as well go next because there's a lot from Mark's that are in mine, so I don't have to elaborate. So is that all
Go
right?
ahead, Daz.
Yeah. Is that all right, David?
Course,
you
man.
sure? You all right?
Sure, 100%. Go.
Okay. Really though?
Are you sure, David? I'm here. I'm here,
Casey,
David.
what's Casey's top game for the decade, Daz?
My favourite game's Mark. He's cool.
Thanks, Casey.
Yeah. I like when he played Ringa Ringa Rosie. In the fields. Oh, that's not you.
Go away. Sorry. I think she's tripping again. She's gonna get off those drugs. Ringa Ringa Rosie.
The youth of today.
Yeah, it's true. Get off my lawn. Oh, jeez. Okay. Look, top 10. They're not in no specific order, obviously. But first one is Bloodborne. We just spoke about that. Loved it. Absolutely amazing. I've always said it's Castlevania Symphony of the Night in 3D, but harder. Number 2. What a surprise. Axiom Verge. Amazing game. As I said before about the sequel, if you love Super Metroid, you're going to love this. I think what got me the most wasn't just the gameplay. The gameplay is spot on. Controls are tight, but just it's the soundtrack. It just absorbs you. It's totally amazing. Number 3. I didn't realize this was out in the last 10 years, so I'm kind of happy that Mark cheated with this one, so I stole it as well, and that's Ultra Street Fighter 4. Again, it's still fun. I think it's always going to be fun. Another one, Overwatch. That was a game I never thought I was going to like. I used to see Tim and Mark play it all the time. I'm like, that just looks like a mess. I don't know what the hell was going on. I just see words on the screen, and it just looked... I thought it was very overwhelming, but I think once you get to know what you're doing, it's just so much fun. I'm very bad at it now. I reckon there's so many extra characters now. I don't even know how many now. I haven't played it. It's been that long. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Unfortunately, I still didn't finish it, but what I've played, I absolutely love, and I really need to play it again. Obviously, it's a spiritual successor to the Wonder Boy series. It was also it was overseen by Reiichi Nishizawa, so that's why it's so damn good. Number 6 surprised the living shit out of me, and I think it's the best 3D Mario game there is, and that's Super Mario Odyssey. Finished it, absolutely loved it. That was my game, Mark, that I couldn't put down. That was just constant. That ruled my life for like 2 weeks.
I loved it. The only thing that's put me off it was I had issues with the camera sometimes.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay.
Otherwise, man, great game.
Man, I think Mario 64 was the best 3D game. It's taken that long for Nintendo to beat it. Absolutely love it. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's absolutely amazing. Next one is Bloodstained. Again, loved it, just like Mark, but I still haven't finished it yet. Mark just came out of nowhere and destroyed me. It's like, oh, jeez. I tried going back to it. It was like a few weeks after I stopped, and it was just, you lose your mojo. To sort of pick it up again. So I need to move my ass and play it again. Guilty Gear Xrd, obviously. So me and Mark have the same taste, pretty much. Absolutely amazing game. Love it. One game it's nearly ruined my life is Tetris 99. I love Tetris. Always love Tetris. This just takes Tetris to the next level, and I absolutely adore it. This is a game I can't get sick of. It's just it's there with Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fight. It just it doesn't get boring.
Yeah, you'll be playing it when you're 60 years old.
Yeah, it does not get boring, and I still have that Tetris condition when at night I think of shapes. And it's actually a legit condition, supposedly. I think about it all the time. Oh, how could I do this? How could I do that? And number 10, which is probably a surprise for everybody. Oh, probably not everybody, but there's a game called Sam's Journey that was for the Commodore 64 out of all things. This game is just absolutely amazing. It's like Mario Brothers mixed with Kid Chameleon.
Yep.
It's a lot like Kid Chameleon on the Mega Drive. So really, Kid Chameleon's a lot like Mario Brothers. So you could say it's a lot like Mario Brothers, this game. You wouldn't even think it runs on a Commodore 64. It just looks so good. It's just an absolutely amazing game. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's not a free game. It's actually one you have to purchase. But it's worth every cent. Run it on an emulator. It's just worth doing. They're actually working on a NES version now. So I might even buy. Yeah, I might even buy the NES cart for it. It looks pretty much the same. Well, and because they run on the same processor, the two computers, I don't think it's that hard for them to do. They're my 10. I've got just a few honourable mentions. I shall be quick. King of Fighters 13. I was quite happy with that.
Oh,
I was very happy with that one.
Dude, I can't believe I forgot about that.
I can't believe you forgot it too. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah.
Heavy Burger, I think, is an amazing multiplayer game. So much fun. Love it.
We did have a lot of fun with that game.
Yeah, we did. It's so good. It's so good. Fights of Rage, I've really grown to love it now after Mark and I played it. Actually, we should have talked about that, about the crossplay, whatever it was.
Yeah. We'll mention it at the end.
We'll mention it soon, yeah. Fights of Rage is absolutely amazing. How do I pronounce this? Momodora. Have you heard of that game before?
No.
No?
Vita game?
I think it's on Vita. I played it on Steam. Oh, sorry, I played it on PS4,
Okay.
but it's on Steam as well. It's a Metroidvania game as well. Really good. It's pretty short. It's worth the money. It's really worth investing time in. It only takes about 10 hours to finish, if that. Lot of fun. Again, I was wrapped. I finished that one. Ori and the Blind Forest. How could I forget that?
Yes.
So good. Absolutely. It's amazing. I love my Metroidvania games. I think that 2D fighters and what's it called? Puzzle games are probably my top 3 styles of games. The Messenger, brutal game.
That was
Absolutely
good.
loved it.
Very
Yeah.
good game.
Yeah, never finished it. Still didn't finish it, but I love it. One game I know I haven't put enough time into it, but I can see this being very special, and that's Astral Chain. I really need to get back onto it. The game is beautiful, and it's really, really good. And Forza Motorsport 7. I love it. I absolutely love the game. I prefer them over the Horizon series. I don't know why. I'm normally more of an arcade racer, but this just feels nicer for me. I don't know. It feels more of a relaxing drive. I don't know.
That's weird.
It's strange. It's really strange. It's more of a serious racing game, but I enjoy it a lot. It's the only game I really play. Well, I can't really play it on the Xbox anymore because I can play it on my PC now. It's not even no point loading up my Xbox. But that was the only game I'd load it up. I'd load up the Xbox for that. So and was it disappointments for the decade? You didn't have any, Mark?
Oh, there's an obvious one.
Okay. All right. Well, these are mine. I'm quick. Street Fighter 5.
Go for it.
Street Fighter 5 was a big disappointment for me. And Forza Horizon 4.
Are you serious?
Yep. Comparing it to... It's not shit. I don't think it's shit. But
it's not as fun as the second one, though.
It's nowhere near as good as the others. I agree. And Motorsport blew it away from me. I thought it was... I played Motorsport, then I played that. I'm like... It just felt like it was... I don't know. It was just chucked together. It looks beautiful. Not doubting it. And the control... It's not a bad game, but it disappointed me. It just didn't grab me like Motorsport.
Did you play 3 at all?
Yes. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. But I prefer the Motorsport games.
I didn't like 3. It felt very try-hardy.
Okay.
Like with the announcement stuff, it like really put me off.
Well, that's what I thought with 4.
4 is a bit the same as well. Like, I'm glad I didn't buy 4. I'm only playing it because it's on Game Pass. But I get it, man. I get it. Yeah. It's like it's fun, but you can only have it in. I can only play it in like little chunks. Otherwise, it starts to get on my nerves.
Yeah, that's why I think Motorsport 7 is just the better game personally. I don't know.
I wish that was on Game Pass.
Motorsport 7. That's not, is it? No.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is.
No. Yeah, so
it's funny, isn't it?
It's rare I buy an Xbox game, and actually no. Did you get that for me, Dave? No, you didn't.
Which one? 7? Yeah, maybe.
I think it was you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember, to be honest.
I think it was you. I think you did get it for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. There you go. See, I do play some games on the Xbox.
I find that comment interesting about Horizon 4 because I didn't play the earlier Horizons.
Yeah.
And I really liked 4, but I can sort of see your point in that it kind of feels a bit by the numbers in that they've got a checklist and it's like include this in the game, include this in the game. But maybe it doesn't have the soul that the previous games had. I don't know. I didn't play the earlier ones.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It feels, again, like 3, it feels very try-hardy and there's like all this influencer bullshit and it's just like 2 didn't have any of that.
Very EA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the main thing that pisses me. Like the racing in that is still fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think after playing 2, the other 2, they don't have quite that effect because it's very much the same things done again, if that makes sense. Like, fucking racing against a plane or a hovercraft and that. Like you do that in the second one, and it's like, all right, that was cool the first time. It's not as doesn't have that wow factor.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've got to
true.
keep pushing the bar, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, Dave.
Go, Davey.
I
All right.
like your list, Dave.
My list is a little bit different to yours.
Yeah.
So, best games of the decade. The first one for me is The Witcher 3. I hadn't played the previous two Witchers. This one was just unbelievably good. And kudos goes to CD Projekt for, not only producing an amazing game, but, they offered it DRM free as well. And they gave you a really nice package that had, a letter saying, thank you for buying the game and all that sort of stuff. I think that's just nice. Like,
And the map
you've got to,
shit too, yeah?
Yeah, you've got to reward, you've got to, bring this to attention because that's how game developers should be. The game itself is amazing. People will criticize little bits and pieces. Yes, the combat isn't as good as potentially it could be, but the story is awesome. And just walking into a town as the Witcher, as Geralt, is just great. You do feel like, everyone's looking at you and you're above them in some sense. So I love this game. And probably my only disappointment was that I got a bad ending. So that just encourages me to try it again. Number 2, Divinity Original Sin 2. So the first one was great. The second one to me is even better. Again, you've got a great developer who listens to the community and has continuously made improvements to the game. But not only that, this game is great. When you go into combat, there are many different ways to basically win a fight, and I love sort of trying to push the boundaries of what you can and can't do with the environment, picking up barrels and doing strange things with them to set, enemies on fire. It's really, really cool. Number 3 was Doom, the 2016 version of Doom. I was really surprised by this. It was exactly what Doom should be in the modern day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it pretty much came out of nowhere. It was perfect. It was fast-paced. It felt like a multiplayer shooter as a single-player game. And I love the way they synergized. If you did certain moves, it would restore health or give you more ammo. So it encouraged you to sort of almost combo the way you were attacking the enemies. Really, really good game. Number 4, so XCOM. Again, this was another one. So they've remade, or not, it's an entirely new game, but it's a game from another decade that they have brought to life this decade. And, for the XCOM diehards, they would have been really worried about this becoming a total mess, but it was utterly brilliant. It captured the feel of the original game, obviously now with much more modern graphics, 3D, and the combat was a lot of fun. Number 2, XCOM 2, is probably better, but I put this one down because I think it really brought the series back to life. Number 5 for me was Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. I was really surprised by this game. It plays really well. The combat was so fun. I remember when I played this that I was actually recording the combat. I can't remember what I was using, maybe Fraps back then, because I just had to show other people how much fun it is to take out orcs.
That's awesome.
It's just so cool. And when you string...
Is this the first one or the second one?
This is the first one, yeah.
First one.
I haven't played the second one, to be honest. But when you string together, 10, 20, 30, 40 hits and take out a whole horde of enemies, it just feels so satisfying. And it also introduced this whole nemesis system where when you kill enemy bosses, other guys who were, say, their lieutenant would come up in the ranks and become a new boss, and there'd be a shift in power. And I thought that was such a good mechanic. So really, really well done. Number 6, Persona 4 Golden. So the beautiful Vita. This was a game that consumed a large amount of my time. It's such a good game, huge RPG. I actually didn't finish it, I'll be honest. It got really hard for me, and maybe I just didn't have the right sort of team or the right skills set up. But this game is really, really good. The whole Persona series is amazing, but I really love Persona 4. And Mark's nodding his head in agreement there.
When I saw your list,
Yeah.
that was the standout. I would have the other games. I was like, yep, those are Dave games.
Persona,
Yep.
no, yeah.
I would have never picked you for a Persona fan. So that's awesome. Have you played 5 at all, Dave?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. It's
if you can get a chance, it's
definitely one I want to give a crack at. I was so surprised by the way this game was set up. It was really, really cool. Number 7 for me is a bit of a surprise, and that's No Man's Sky. We know that the game didn't release to much positive fanfare, but the effort that they've gone into to continuously do updates now for 2 years plus, and not a single extra charge. It now is the game that it should have been 2 years ago, but it is an utterly brilliant game. So if you're into that sort of space exploration / building, it's brilliant. It's great. Number 8, we head down Bethesda's ranks here. Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I was never a huge fan of Oblivion, to be honest, even though it was widely praised. But Skyrim for me really gelled. It was, it had bugs, just as most Bethesda games do. But this game is just huge. It's so cool, traveling on your horse and doing the shouts and slaying dragons and just everything about it is awesome. I could just wander around. This is what Bethesda do really well. Exploration. You can just go down the beaten path. You probably will see something that's not even that interesting, but it still feels like you're exploring and having fun. It's so good. And then on the flip side to that, Fallout New Vegas. This wasn't Bethesda, actually. I think it was Obsidian who did this. Really, really good. Probably my favorite of the Fallouts of the modern era. Great amount of choices that you could make, and you had that sort of neatly wrapped up at the end when you were given your summary of how you went in the game. So really, really good game. And the last one for me, now I think the early versions of this game might have came out last decade, but Minecraft, I think, is sort of synonymous with this decade, really.
Yeah.
And you can, for some people, they can't understand the point of the game, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. It is a game that you're kind of going to make your own game of, in a sense, right? But I think it's influenced a whole generation of people, and it's the game I've played the most with my kids, and I think there's always something new you can get out of it. So a great game. No parent will look down at their kids for playing Minecraft, because it does breed creativity and teach them about survival as well. So I think it's brilliant. So they were my top 10 for the decade. Some honourable mentions, and I'll quickly skim through these. Diablo 3 initially, again, wasn't the best received game, but I think it's a game that I've probably pumped at least 200 or 300 hours into, so it's well worth being in the honourable mentions. Mario Kart 8, which Mark mentioned, brilliant game. Axiom Verge, which Darren mentioned, amazing game. There's a lot of 2s in here. Mass Effect 2, Borderlands 2, Dead Space 2, Portal 2, Titanfall 2, The Division 2. All these games, I think, did better than their predecessor and were probably the pinnacle. Well, for some of them, they're the only ones, but really great games. And I will make a special mention of Slay the Spire. This was a game I only found out about this year, and I thought it was a really fun deck building card type game, and I do pick it up from time to time and give it another crack. And lastly, I just want to pay some homage to our retro 8-bit systems. I know Daz mentioned Sam's Journey. I want to mention some of the amazing games that came out on the Amstrad in the last few years, and it's great to see our old systems still getting some love in this decade.
Yeah, man.
And I hope it continues next decade.
Yeah.
Disappointments. I'll probably only mention a couple. Fallout 76. I haven't even played the game. It's still a disappointment to me. And probably the other one I think was probably Borderlands, a pre-sequel, because I was looking forward to a new Borderlands and it didn't live up to it. That is it for me. Let's focus on this year, though. Have we got a couple of maybe the top 5 of games for 2019? I'm curious to see if any overlap with your top for the decade. Daz, how about you start us off with this one?
I only have 4.
All
I
right.
couldn't think of any more. Because, these are all pretty much Switch games, if anything. 3 out of 4. Crystal Crisis, I really enjoyed. I got recently. If you're a fan of Super Puzzle Fighter, it's pretty much the same thing on the Switch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, loved it. Got to match crystals. It's like columns kind of thing too. Ninja Warriors remake. I thought it was absolutely spot on. Absolutely love it. Blasphemous. I know I only played it today, but you know what? I think this is going to be a special game. I can just tell straight away. And I mentioned it before, was Bubble 4. They're my 4 games for this year. Look, there's probably more, man. I just can't remember. There was so many I thought that were out this year. I had to double check the boxes. There's like, the end of last year, and it's like, well, shit. But they're the only 4 I could actually get out. Look, there's probably a few others, but from memory, there's no chance. But yeah, I am really looking forward to Blasphemous. Yeah.
Anything let you down this year?
Man, it's a hard one. There's a few Switch games I know I bought that were cheapies, but it's nothing that was going to upset me. Nah, not really. There's nothing from the top of my head. Nah.
Cool, man. Mr. Mark, your top 5, 2019.
I'm actually going to go top 10, only because a lot of these I've already spoken about. No particular order. Luigi's Mansion 3. Never played the series before. Absolutely loved it. I still need to go back to it, though. Pokemon Sword and Shield. I've already talked about that before. Devil May Cry 5. Resurgence for the series, and Capcom's Redemption arc continues. Speaking of Capcom, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Again, absolutely brilliant. Capcom once again, Monster Hunter World Iceborne. They could have phoned home an expansion for Monster Hunter World, but they didn't. It's been an absolute... It's been an improvement, and they continue to build on it. So, and they support the game, and they don't charge you anything. So, this is what Capcom should be doing with their fighting games.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat 11. I don't know if it's as good as 10. Jury's still out on that one, but absolutely beautiful looking game. Yeah, I won't go into too much detail about that one. Bloodstained, spoke about that before. Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. Again, never been a huge Zelda fan. This one kept me on my seat from start to finish. Didn't overstay its welcome. Absolutely loved it. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. Again, just adding on to an already amazing MMO series. And one that I think surprised us all that Daz has spoken about quite a bit, Tetris 99. Who the hell thinks of an idea of a battle royale Tetris game
Amazing.
and then decides, you know what, we're just going to give this away to you for nothing. That's how it's done. A few notable mentions: Ninja Saviors. Again, we've spoken about this a few times. Great remake of a fantastic game. What have I got here? Samurai Showdown. Again, bringing a series back from the dead. Great game. I wish I've played it probably maybe a little bit more, but absolutely amazing. And disappointments. 2 big ones, actually. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Not so much because the game itself was bad. It was okay. Look, it got criticised for being maybe a little bit too easy. I don't care if a game's easy or hard, as long as I have fun playing it. But if you're going to make your fans wait 12 years for a sequel, don't give them another cliffhanger. Because that what disappointed me so much about that game was the way that it finished. I won't give any spoilers, but yeah, I know a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans that were like hardcore Kingdom Hearts fans that were so disappointed in that game. Yeah, and then the other one, so much wasted potential, Anthem. I stupidly bought this game on release and I played it for a couple of days, and yeah, it deserves all the crap that it got. It was so much potential, especially, and what makes it even more so disappointing is that it's from BioWare. This is a company, as Dave mentioned on his list, Mass Effect and Dragon's Age, they've gone from releasing home runs to just, yeah. So there's rumors that they're working on redoing the game. We've seen it before, Diablo 3 and the likes, No Man's Sky. Hopefully they can pull off a No Man's Sky and give the game the love and attention that it deserves, because the way it released was super, super disappointing.
Yes, and how much is it now from the shops? $4, I think you can get it
$5,
from JB.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
It's $5 too much, mate.
What a shame.
Honestly. Yeah.
For me, for 2019, just a top 5. Division 2 will definitely make that list. I think it's a great game. Gears of War 5, we haven't really talked about that. I really enjoyed my time with this game. It was probably around the right length and just a lot of fun. Borderlands 3, again, had a lot of fun with this game. And it was nice to come back to a Borderlands that didn't suck badly. And Super Mario Maker 2 came out this year, and I actually had quite a bit of fun with the kids playing this. So that goes on my list. And Slay the Spire, again, I will mention that game because I think it's a brilliant card game. They are my favourites for 2019. In terms of letdowns, I've got 2 here. One is a mobile game, Mario Kart Tour.
Yes.
My kids were playing this, and I did jump into a few sessions with them, and it was pretty sucky the way Nintendo handled this. Real shame compared, I guess, to their previous outing. So let's hope they hit the next one for a home run. And I've put Outer Worlds as a bit of a disappointment as well. Whilst I had a positive experience playing it, it's just left no memorable mark on me. And it's a game I probably will never go back to, sadly. So I don't know why. It seems to have all the formula of what should make a game that I would like, but it just doesn't do it for me. So that is my disappointment.
So common theme with that game. The guys from Giant Bombcast were saying the exact same thing.
Oh, interesting.
There's something about it, like they loved it playing through it, and then once they got to the end, it was just like, it's not. I don't know. It's something about it was disappointing. So it's pretty much mirroring your thoughts.
Yeah, I often wonder if it is just that whole sort of by the numbers. Like you've got certain things you need to put in the game, and they've done that based on their past experience. But it hasn't got that magic. There's something that's missing. And sometimes that magic could be, an imbalance in the game could actually be magic, right? Having something that makes the game, makes it game breaking, almost makes it fun. So I don't know what it is. It's almost like it's AI generated and it's too perfect and it doesn't have that fun factor. I don't know. But yeah, that was my letdown. Alrighty, I think we might wrap this up, guys.
Wrap it up for 2019.
Just before we do, Daz, do you want to talk about the remote play that we did?
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. We'll do that. Yeah, okay, we can do
that.
Go for it.
yeah, Mark and I thought we'll give this remote play a go via Steam and see if it's going to be how dodgy it'll be. First, what was the first game we did? We did Guilty Gear, didn't we?
No, first game we tried was that shooter game with the bots.
The bots one. I can't remember what it was called. Some zombie thing. It screwed that up because I didn't do it multiplayer. I did so it was just a bit of confusion there, so that didn't work. So we scrapped that. Then we thought, okay, well we'll try it. Guilty Gear. It was just a touch of lag on my end.
Yeah,
mate. It was fine. It was fine. Mark was hosting that one, and the picture quality would degrade a little bit because it's obviously streaming, but I thought it was quite good. Mark thought it was good as far as I know. Yeah. With
yeah. So, yeah, it was obviously because I was hosting.
Yeah.
There was I didn't feel any kind of input lag or anything like that. But yeah, it seemed to run pretty well.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So yeah, then we tried out Fights and Rage, and I hosted that one, and my end it ran perfect. Mark, what was your experience?
For me, there was that touch of input delay. Not super bad though, like not enough to ruin the game experience. Same thing. Like there was a little bit of picture degradation.
Yeah.
It would get a little bit grainy at times. And the problem with that game as well is because it's got like those weird kind of filters on it as well, and it's like kind of dark. It can be a little bit difficult to see, but it was good, and we sat there and we played that for a fair while too.
Probably an hour.
Yeah.
But you didn't
It was good.
You didn't ask me to play, Mark. You didn't ask
Sorry,
me.
Casey. Don't blame me. Blame Darren. He's the one that hosted.
No. He said I can play, and then he told me no. Mark wants you to sit down and shut up. And I'm over it, Mark. I'm over it.
Bloody hell, man! Mate, she's tripping on the mushrooms tonight.
Yeah, she's getting stuck into me hard.
I know. Man.
I think Casey needs a New Year's resolution. What do you reckon,
I
Dad?
think she needs to calm down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good. I mean, look, overall, yeah, for a free feature,
Man,
I mean,
can't complain.
That Google's charging $15 a month for. We can't finish off the year without laying one more boot into Google, right? Into Stadia. It was good, man. It was really, really good.
I'm curious to try it with you guys because I want to see the impact of another person, like whether 3 people or 4 people gets worse or the experience stays the same. So we should give Fight and Rage a crack.
Oh yeah, you can do that 3 players. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. All right, so this is us for 2019. We'll probably take, I don't know, a couple of weeks off. I'm not sure. I don't know quite like.
Probably back mid-Jan, mid-Jan.
Mid-Jan, yeah. And then we'll get back to our regular schedule, work permitting, as always.
Of course.
But yeah, look, just before we go, just want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen. Feedback has been great so far.
Yeah.
It's really, in this day and age, it's really, really tough to launch a new podcast. Look, we've had the benefit that we've come from another successful one, but it doesn't always guarantee, listens and everything like that. But we've been like super happy with the reception that we got. So again, thank you all for listening, putting up with us, putting up with Casey throughout the year and her interruptions and the like. Thanks to Dave. Thanks to Dave actually for coming on board permanently.
Yeah.
Thanks to Daz, for all the hard work that he does, editing and getting everything out there. And yeah, we'll see you guys next year. Any shout outs though before we wrap it up?
Just the people that supported us, I guess. Thank you, John Ebbs. Mate, he listens to us every episode, so thanks for that. Paul McCaskey does as well. Thank you. What was that, Mark?
Oh, so no, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. So we know he listens, and we really appreciate it. So I know Tag does, and
Merry Christmas, Tag Star. Thank you. I think you're the only one that likes me. No one else likes me. Yeah.
So there you go. That's for you, Sean, because he loves Casey. So, yeah.
That's it for us. We will catch you in 2020.
How crazy is that?
That's a scary thought. It's going to be a bumpy year next year, so we'll have a lot to discuss. But yeah, we'll see you guys then.
We'll leave you this: that 1990 was 30 years ago.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
Insane.
That makes me want to cry.
So let's go back to 1990 and play our Mega Drives.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, me and my Commodore 64 anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, same.
And we will leave you.
All right, guys.
Bye. We will leave you with this awesome track. Yeah.
That we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next year.
Bye-bye. Adios.